need to move a bit quicker, actually.
Teaching global citizenship means making issues from across the world matter to students in the UK.
In Africa, that's how some people have to get water for their families. They must be pretty strong.
Water is an essential resource, yet over 1 billion people don't have access to safe water. At Kingsbury High School in northwest London, global citizenship is taught through geography at Key Stage 3. Geography teacher Katrina Winter is going to explore the issue of water with her Year 9 class.
Okay.
She wants her pupils to understand what life's like for people who don't have running water.
What we're going to do is we're going to go outside, okay? And there are going to be a number of buckets. Right, pick up a bucket and start walking around the playground.
Straight line, guys.
Yep. Straight line, please. Wait. Off you go.
It might be hard because
No.
I'm not feeling up to it today.
No. Tough.
20 minutes to do this. God.
15 minutes. You got back pain, have you? 15 minutes. Thierry, 15 minutes. 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes. What about your shoulder? You got a shoulder injury. Is that from carrying the bucket? 5 more minutes now.
How heavy is it?
Very, very, very heavy. Guys, you've got about 3 more minutes.
I want to make a
Okay, when you get to here, I want you to stop. Okay. Paul, how are you feeling? Terrible. Terrible. How are you feeling? Exhausted. Exhausted. How are you feeling? Cold. Cold. How are you feeling?
Knackered.
Knackered. What about you?
My joints hurt.
Your joints hurt, okay?
I have a back pain.
You've got a back pain, okay?
Exhausted.
Exhausted. Do you have only carried less than 10 litres of water?
Less than 10.
Less than 10 litres of water. What do you think the point of that was? What was the point? Hands up. The point of carrying the water around the playground for 20 minutes. Dylan.
To make us realise that it's very tiring and people all over the world have to do it every day to survive.
Rachel.
I think it just makes us realise how long they actually have to walk, because if you just hear the statistics, like they walk 3 miles a day, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you've actually experienced only 20 minutes of walking, it actually shows you how long it is.
I think that by doing that activity, the pupils actually were really, really getting into the mind of somebody who might have to carry water, and so by doing that, they really did develop an empathy.
Katrina hopes that developing empathy will help the class relate to a film about a family in Kenya and how water shapes their daily life.
The Ndichu family live in a small village in Kenya, East Africa. Mum, Dad and their 7 children share their home with a variety of farmyard animals. They live just 20 miles from the capital, Nairobi, but like most people living in the countryside, the family don't have running water. Their day begins at sunrise and getting the younger children ready for school.
No, mire.
Each child has to carry their own water to school for washing and drinking. After the younger ones have left, their father sets off on his daily commute to Nairobi, where he works as a mechanic. Margaret and Ruth are the oldest girls, and they stay at home to help their mother.
Most days, I'm busy doing stuff around the house. I have to get water, wash clothes, wash dishes, do the cooking.
Most jobs around the house need water, but there aren't any taps in the Ndichu house.
We get our water from the local river. We have to go down there 3 times a day, and we carry a 20-litre container each. We use water for pretty much everything: drinking, washing ourselves, washing clothes and dishes, feeding the animals, watering the plants.
The river is a 20-minute walk away, and the whole journey takes an hour. Today, Margaret and Ruth are getting help from their cousin, but usually fetching water is the work of women and girls.
It's our culture for women and girls to get the water. Boys do it when they're young, but once they're teenagers, they won't go to the river anymore because they think it's women's work. Going to the river can be dangerous. Sometimes there are hippos down there. If you see a hippo when you get to the river, you have to forget the water and run for your life.
Ruth is used to the risks involved in getting water.
I've been fetching water since I was 11. At the beginning, it was difficult. I used to get pains in my legs, but now I'm used to it. It's just a part of life.
It feels like a sack of rocks. It's really heavy. It puts a strain on your neck and your head, and you feel the water can digging into your back.
While Margaret and Ruth bring back the first water of the day, their younger brother and sisters arrive at school in time for morning assembly.
Good morning, school. Good morning, teacher. How are you? Thank you.
Winner, 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 winner. Jesus, you are a winner, winner. Battle, battle, you won forever, winner.
Bugwa is 11 and the youngest boy in the Ndichu family. His first class is maths, and to make things more complicated, all the lessons in Kenya are taught in English.
There is 3. Aya. We come here. We have 2 takeaway. Can it? No. So?
Every pupil here has to bring water to school and can get punished if they don't. Otherwise, there isn't enough to go around.
This is one of the school's water tanks. In the rainy season, water comes off the roof, through the pipe and into the tank, and then we drink it.
We have looked at present simple tense and present...
Lillian is 14 and in her last year of primary school.
Action. One action happened before the other? Action. Which action?
Primary school here is free, but if she wants to go to secondary school, the family will have to pay.
I finished primary school last year and passed all my exams, so I'm really hoping to be able to go to secondary school. I can't go at the moment because we don't have enough money. Secondary school's expensive. It costs around £200 a year.
£200 is about half the family's yearly income.
No. I'm not happy about not being able to go to school, but if things get better financially, I can go then and I'll be really happy.
What I'd really like to do is have my own hair salon. I went to college and trained as a hairdresser, and I'd like to start my own business.
Margaret wants to talk to hairdressers in her local town about how to get started. If she's to set up her own hair salon, a good water supply will be crucial.
Starting a business is very hard. It costs money, and I don't have very much. So what I did was buy stock bit by bit, and then eventually I got premises. But this town has a big water problem. There's a public tap in the town where we can get water, but most of the time it's dry. So we have to buy water from the men who go around selling it in the streets. This salon does good business, but if you don't have water, you lose your customers because all the work we do here revolves around water. We have to make sure we've always got water stored away. Usually we store water in the tank up there, as you can see, but we make sure we have plenty of containers in reserve on the ground.
Startup kit.
To start my own salon, I need money to pay for water and to buy hair products, chemicals, towels, and to rent premises. I just don't have the finances.
I'd like to be a pilot, but to do that, I need to get a good education. I think flying a plane would be great. I know it's not easy. The training is expensive, but if I could fly, I'd be so happy. I've never been in a plane, but I see them passing overhead. I imagine myself up in the sky and everything on the ground would look so tiny because I'd be so high up.
As the afternoon begins to cool down, it's time for another trip to the river. In the UK, the average person uses 155 litres of water each day. If the Ndichu family used this much, Margaret and Ruth would have to go to the river 35 times a day. Drought can be a problem in some parts of Kenya, but here the river never runs dry. The main problem the family face is that the water isn't clean.
This is an irrigation pipe, taking water from the river to nearby farms growing coffee, flowers and cash crops. All these crops and pineapples are grown for export. They're sold to the UK and Europe. So the water that goes down to the farms gets polluted with chemicals from fertilizers and then gets washed back into the river.
Margaret's family live next to one of the biggest pineapple plantations in the world. Farms like these are boosting Kenya's economy, but don't always benefit local people. And pollution doesn't only come from farms.
Sewage.
There's also sewage. This is sewage from Raru town. It comes down from this stream, and into the river we get water from. We have to drink water from that river. There's no choice. If we had a well near our home, we'd be able to get clean water, but that costs money. In 2005, I got typhoid from drinking dirty water. I was sick for about a month, and my dad had to spend a lot on medicine.
To avoid disease, the water needs to be boiled before drinking, but this doesn't always happen.
Typhoid is very common here, and people get other diseases from the water, like cholera.
By 6 o'clock in the evening, the younger children are back from school. Before it gets dark, there's a final journey to the river, and this time it's the turn of the youngest children.
Fetching water is really hard work. If we had water at home, we'd have much more time and be able to do other things.
Initial reactions to that film, anything, what do people think? Paul?
It's shocking because like the sewage goes into their water what they drink.
The sewage, exactly. The sewage goes into the water and they have to use that water to drink. Well done.
We use the water and we waste it and everything, and they have to use dirty water and they don't waste a single bit.
Okay.
It's just that we're privileged and they actually have to go through a lot of stuff to actually just get water, and we actually, we think our life is hard, but look at that.
Sometimes they've got to be careful because there might be hippos in the river.
Exactly.
So they've got to run and leave their water.
Exactly. So there's a danger element as well to going collecting water.
The amount of water we drink in a day is equivalent to them going 35 times a day.
To the river, well done.
The children, well, it's good that they at least got free school for primary school, but it costs so much to go to secondary school, and we're all here, and most people are like, oh, I don't want to go to school today, but they treasure it and they have to pay to go to school.
I've got your initial reactions to the films. Let's think about some of the issues around water, okay, that have arisen in that film we've just watched. Okay, Diresh.
Like when they drank the dirty water, she had to take typhoid.
Okay,
and it cost the parents lots of money.
Okay, she actually caught typhoid, which is a disease that you get from drinking dirty water, and she had to pay a lot of money for the medicine. Well done. Good. Meha?
They could solve the problem by adding a well, but they don't have enough money for it.
In the video, they showed people growing the crops and stuff, but most of them get imported to Europe and stuff.
Exactly, exactly. So what were they using the water from the river for then?
Pineapples,
corn,
and coffee.
Good. And do you think that the local people use those different?
The farmers that are using their crops, they have fertilizers and all of that. So when it gets washed back into the river, all those chemicals are going back.
Exactly. So all of those chemicals are in the river, and they're drinking that water every day. Let's think about this then. Who actually goes to collect most of the water?
The women.
The women go to collect most of the water. As a woman, you spend most of your time collecting water. What are the men doing? What are the men doing? Hamid?
Working. Going to work and trying to earn money for the house so they can get basic food stuff.
The woman of the family actually had gone to school and had a degree in hairdressing. She had the opportunity to get much more money for her family, but because she's a woman, she has to go collect the water and look after the house.
Exactly. Got a little homework exercise for you to do, okay? And I've got a list of world resources, Jordan, okay? List of world resources. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to rank, in order of importance, the world resources, okay? So there's oil, water, gold, diamonds, the rainforest, food, happiness and money. Now remember, there's no right answer, and I want you to be able to give me a reason why you've chosen your top number one. In this first lesson, I wanted them to get some of the basic issues around water for people living in Africa. And the next lesson, what I want to move on to looking at is the global distribution of water, looking at how we can, as citizens, actually make a difference to the amount of water we use in our home.
A week later, Katrina takes the second lesson with her Year 9 class. Through exploring the issue of water worldwide, she hopes they'll understand the importance of using water in a sustainable way.
OK, so last lesson, for your homework, I asked you to rank a number of different world resources.
I thought money was the most important because you need money to do everything and anything.
You need money to do everything and anything, OK.
Well, I thought water was the most important.
Why did you think water was the most important?
Because looking back at last lesson, we learned about how much water means to people and how much people need it in the world.
Water is important, but it's not going to make you happy, and like family is what makes you happy and stuff like that.
OK, but if you didn't have water, do you think you'd be happy? Sarah?
I think water's first and then happiness.
Water first, then happiness. Why?
Because you need water. You might be happy for like half an hour or something, and then you're dead, so what's the point?
OK, so water is essential for life. OK, lovely. Now, today we're going to sort of deepen our knowledge about water, and I've split you into 6 different groups. Each group is going to have a different topic to research, OK? So I've got 6 topics here. One is who owns water. One is contamination of water. One is personal use of water. The other is the impacts of having no water. The other is the global distribution of water. And then the global consumption of water. Wow. If they're actually doing their own research, they're finding out for themselves. It's kind of inquiry learning, and they're beginning to sort of pick out information themselves, and they actually remember it and learn it a lot quicker and more effectively if they're doing the research themselves.
So basically they supply the water.
Oh, there's something about the sea.
So they own the water.
In the London area.
In the London area.
So maybe every country has a company like Thames Water.
Okay, well maybe you want to research that. Are there water companies in Africa?
I'm writing about contamination of water in Africa, and I just found out that only 9% of households in eastern Uganda get an acceptable quality of water.
What do you think about that?
I think it's really kind of depressing since we have so much water that we drink every day. Like me alone, I must have drank 4 glasses of water already, and to think that it takes so much most people would hardly never have 1 glass of acceptable water is really quite shocking, and the fact that people are dying just because they don't have clean water when we have so much, it's just really horrible.
I just found out that it says it takes 1 litre of water to make a 100-gram chocolate bar, and also it takes 9 litres of water are used for the paper in 1 magazine. So it's a lot of water in making things. I never realised that before.
Right, everyone put your pens down, please. Right, okay, so I'd like to start off with the group who owns water.
Thames Water supplies water for London, which means they control all the water from here to Reading. Each continent controls the water within the countries inside that continent. And European countries have water systems, for example, which control the water they have, but no one really owns the oceans.
Global consumption of water doubling every 20 years, twice the rate of human population, and the capita water use for Africa is 245 meter cube, Asia is 519 meter cube, South America is 478 meter cube, Europe is 1,280 meter cube.
Okay, so what did you find out then? Who used most water?
Europe.
Okay, lovely. Contamination of water now, please. Contamination of water and what you learned?
South America, tourists even have to be careful about the water, and also the fuel from the machines that go into the Amazon rainforest is actually leaking into the water and therefore affecting the water and contaminating it. Antarctica, when they and the drill into the ice lakes, and this can contaminate it and spread into the under the ice rivers.
In a washing machine, we use 80 litres of water a day. Taking a bath, 80 litres too. Shower, 5 litres per minute. And to flush a toilet, 9.5 litres. That's a lot.
There's lots of different things we can do. Firstly, while we're using the tap to brush our teeth, we could just turn it off, then brush.
Yep, good idea.
And then turn it back on when we need to rinse it. That will save lots and lots and lots of water a year.
When you're having a bath, you should always limit your time to 5 minutes.
A bath or a shower?
A shower and a bath, both of them.
Okay, but surely if you fill up a bath, the water's been used.
But it goes cold straight away, so you want to put more hot water through.
Okay, so...
So if you go in the bath, quickly wash yourself, and it's cold, then you can go out instead of keep on
topping up the hot water.
Tempted to put the hot water in.
By empathising with people who don't have clean water and learning about water issues worldwide, the students realise that water is a vital and limited resource that shouldn't be taken for granted.
If we save water in England, we could give it to other countries which don't have clean water. So it will help Africa and other LEDCs.
Yeah, that's
a less economically developed countries.